100 years ago, after the revival of spirit qi, it became the most fundamental energy in the world. Under the influence of spirit qi, living creatures evolved into two directions. One was a wild, ancestral regression, which enhanced their physical power. The other was spiritual mutation, which focused on energy-based attacks. And in turn, humanity developed various spirit qi professions like spirit beast observer and spirit beast material analyst. Someone was leisurely scrolling through his phone. He received a question about what to do if someone got bitten by a ghostly thorn bristle spider. This silver-haired guy who was resting on his bed answered the question. He told the one asking not to panic and to drink plenty of hot water, lie down in a well-ventilated area to prevent the body from stinking. A paw reached out to this guy. The creature complained that it was hot. This creature was named Smarty, and he was 100 questions beast. He complained to this silver-haired guy named Lin Yuan that it was so hot. He climbed Yuan's head because he heard that it was cooler up high. But Yuan looked at him like he was dumb since his head wasn't that much higher. Smarty opened the window. He became so happy when the breeze blew. In that building, Yuan did some chores. Yuan was 18 years old, and he was an owner of a small spirit creature shop. Although the people of the world could use spirit qi to promote the growth of living creatures, for him, it's like an impossible fairy tale. He had been frail since he was a child, and he had been completely unable to sense the existence of spirit qi since he was 8. He can't improve his physical condition with spirit qi like a normal person, let alone contract with high-grade spirit creatures. He checked a species called Lily Loira. It was of normal grade, and its quality was from normal to low-grade spirit creature. He realized that blocking the light with a cloth wasn't enough. The weather's too hot, and there was no way to cool things down. Smarty saw that Lily Loira was about to wilt. As the lowest grade healing type spirit plant, it was just not competitive. It was even worse than the green creeper vines used for fodder. In the world since the spirit qi revival, all spirit creatures were divided by grade and quality. Anything below copper grade was considered low grade. Almost no one was willing to spend resources raising low-grade spirit creatures, because by comparison, high-grade ones were much easier to evolve. Just like how in the last 100 years, no one has ever heard of 100 questions about evolving. A flying bird-like creature named Yin Yin arrived to deliver Yuan's medicine. The species of this creature was a sound bird. He thanked Yin Yin for it. With a body as weak as his, just contracting with low-grade creatures like Smarty and Yin Yin left him dizzy for 2 weeks, let alone sensing spirit qi to raise them and help them level up. An hour later, they looked bored. Smarty asked if humans loved to sleep in because there was still no one on the street. Yuan asked what he was talking about. He decided to call everyone's attention by telling them that they have green creepers. A little girl holding a cat was with her mother, and they passed by. She noticed the 100-question beast, just like Keiki, the one she's holding. Smarty welcomed them and offered green creepers. Keiki commented that Smarty's fur was so dry and gray that it was obviously a leftover. It couldn't be compared to her. Naturally, Smarty was offended. He argued that they were of the same species. He challenged her with rock, paper, scissors if she had the guts. Yuan told him to calm down. Also, there was no way they could play rock, paper, scissors with those paws. He suggested a walk to cheer him up instead. They left, since it's not like they have any customers anyway. Smarty suggested that they buy meat. He tries to justify it by saying that if he eats a few more braised pork, he'd definitely get smarter and he wouldn't have lost. Yuan looked like he was holding back his laughter. Yin Yin tried to cheer up Smarty by telling him that even though he wasn't as smart as the other 100 questions beast, he's cheap. Smarty replied that hearing that made it worse. Yuan felt bad that he couldn't sense spirit qi. Smarty yelled at him to look at his left. To his surprise, there was a blunt, armored pig. He wondered what it was doing near the park. He thought that something happened at the farm. Smarty, while drooling, attacked this wild mountain of braised pork that had appeared. Yuan grabbed him since he's just going to get himself killed. He couldn't possibly beat it. He noticed that it was angry. By nature, they were very gentle creatures. Normally, what Smarty did shouldn't have made it furious. He ran as fast as he could as the blunt armored pig chased after them. Yuan was feeling more tired than usual. Smarty noticed his breathing and asked if he was okay. Suddenly, he tripped. He hugged Smarty tightly to protect him. Yin Yin, despite being obviously scared, protected him. Smarty too. He was ready to face this braised pork. Yuan could feel that he's about to pass out. He told them to run. Unexpectedly, his consciousness was transported. Someone called his name. He saw a large copper bracelet. He recognized it. It was the copper bracelet that he lost when he was 8. It disappeared after his blood got on it. The light traveled towards his wrist. As the bracelet glows brightly, Yuan starts feeling a familiar sensation. It was the spirit key. He hasn't been able to feel it since he was 8, and now it was back. He wore the bracelet on his wrist. He got up. Smarty, who was being chased by the blunt armor pig, saw that he had woken up. Yin urged him to think of something. But even with that little bit of spirit key, there wasn't enough time to do anything. His wrist glowed, and so is Yuan's left eye. He saw a status window of this blunt armored pig. Its name is Zai. It was a normal grade level 3, and a defense type with a normal domain quality. He could see the information quickly, and seeing that it was at level 3, he got worried because Smarty and the others weren't even level 1. He told Smarty to dodge since it was going to attack from the right. But it wasn't enough. Even if he barely dodges, the gap in their strength was still too big. He needed more power. He wished that the bracelet was contracted to him. Yin unleashed sound waves as revenge for hurting Smarty. Yuan noticed that the light was the same as the one on Yin. Smarty and Yin's bodies glowed. Yuan thought they were evolving because of the bracelet's power. The blunt armored pig roared loudly. Smarty tried to hold on so he wouldn't be blown away. He asked Yin how the pig's voice was louder than her. Yuan knew that even if they were evolving, the gap between level 1 and level 3 was still too big. He's aware of the pig's weak point, though. Smarty expressed that the braised pork was too strong. Yin asked Yuan on what they should do. He instructed Yin to sing to get its attention. Any notes would do as long as it was loud enough. She gave her best, and her off-tune affected the pig. Luckily for Yuan, she was immune to this after being a sparring partner for over 400 times before. The pig turned its attention to Yin and started chasing her. She realized that she had become a substitute for Smarty. Yuan instructed her to turn and attack its eyes because if it can't see, it would stop. Yin was about to use a move. Her body glowed, but it didn't push through. She finds it strange that she can't use that move anymore. Yuan's spiritual power ran out at the worst time. He begged the bracelet to hold on a little longer. Yin felt the energy coming back, so proceeded on attacking. She guided her feathers to cover the pig's eyes. While the pig shook off, it was Smarty's turn. Smarty dashed towards it. He targeted a specific area on the pig, and that was its nose. The pig ran to retreat and accidentally hit Smarty, and that made Smarty dizzy. He confirmed with Yuan if they had won. Yuan, who was barely holding himself up, replied yes. They were amazing at chasing it off, and then he lost consciousness. Yin and Smarty got alarmed. The pig ran as fast as it could, but it suddenly stopped when someone blocked its path. There was a man in a wheelchair and a beast on his lap, and he was being assisted by a woman. He wondered why there was a blunt armored pig there. The woman's eyes widened. When she saw the feather from the pig, she was able to recognize it from the little one at Yuan's house. She told old Li that she's going to leave the blunt armored pig to him while she goes to find Yuan first. He told her to hurry up and go. Li's eyes turned red as he borrowed the power of his beast. Yuan's consciousness was back at that place again. He had lost count of how long he's been walking there since he had dreamed it. It was the place where the bracelet was. He thanked it for sharing its spiritual power to him in times of crisis. As if it was responding, the bracelet glowed brightly. Yuan estimated that the place was about 40 to 50 square meters. He wondered if that was the so-called internal space of a spirit creature. He asked if it was its ability. Yuan checks the status screen of his spirit creature, Mobius, an unknown species at normal grade level 1 with spatial and mystic attributes. Mobius has 2 basic skills: True Data, which extracts hidden information beyond what the eye can see, and Calm Mind, a passive skill that stabilizes the spirit and can resist negative statuses as it levels up. Yuan already knows the power of True Data, and he suspects Calm Mind may have formed from helping Yin practice her singing. He was surprised to see that it has an exclusive trait. Usually, only those that have reached bronze rank have them. A normal grade having an exclusive trait led him to think that it could be a legendary divine treasure or a fantasy breed. Mobius possesses unique traits. It can house spirit creatures whose initial level cannot exceed its own. It only levels up when the housed creature does and copies that creature's initial skill without gaining new ones upon leveling, and each rank advancement increases its housing capacity by 1. After reading that, he realized that it could only form a contract with a level 1 normal grade spirit beast, and Mobius could only level up after he raised it. To contract 1 more, he had to raise a level 1 spirit beast until it advanced to a rank which was level 10. Raising low-rank spirit beasts was already incredibly expensive. At this rate, even someone with a fortune would be broke in minutes, not to mention how broke he was at the moment. He tried to think of it positively since it was better than nothing. At least he could feel spiritual power now. And maybe in the future, there would be a chance to turn things around. Suddenly, he heard someone ask the doctor why he wasn't waking up when it's already been half a day, and the diagnosis was just mental shock and some weakness. Yuan recognized that voice to be Auntie Jiang from next door. He realized that it was time for him to get out. When he woke up, Yin Yin was pecking on him while Smarty was slapping him to wake him up. He got up and told them that he was fine. He asked why they were so worried that they couldn't even speak properly. Auntie Jiang was relieved to finally see him awake. The doctor informed him that his auntie was worried sick. He was given another checkup just in case. Yuan replied that it wasn't necessary, but Auntie Jiang pointed out that he was unconscious for almost 10 hours. She lectured him to get treated if he's sick, especially if he doesn't want a small illness to turn into a big one. He had no choice but to agree and lay back down. Uncle Lee and Auntie Jiang from next door had always taken good care of him and his little sister, but he deemed not to tell her yet about forming a contract with Mobius. When the doctor used its beast, the data was displayed to Yuan. The spirit creature was a cleansing Vimbacarp under the species Cyprinini/Criprinus. It was an elite grade level 4 water-type elite quality creature. It has 2 skills. The first one was the tail sweep, where it leaps up and strikes with its tail. The second one was cleanse. It gently absorbs nearby mental trauma to help soothe abnormal mental states. As expected of an elite grade, it had such a rare skill. The doctor declared that everything was fine. Then he headed out since he has a wife waiting at home for dinner. The red and white beast of old Li brought them dinner. Li made that nutritious meal just for Yuan, but Auntie Jiang didn't force himself to eat it. But of course he wouldn't dare. Smarty and Yin Yin got excited because it smelled good and it was braised pork. When he saw the rabbit, he remembered how it has always been pretty mysterious. It was not as lively as other terror rabbits. His curiosity made him take a look, but all its details were all just question marks. He realized that it wasn't a terror rabbit at all. After recovering, Yuan went out to jog. He was already out of breath. He had been jogging for an hour every day since he got out of the hospital. It was still intense for him. Since he doesn't have any spirit qi, he had to build his body up from a young age. He should also probably give up on combat professions and consider a life-type one. Uncle Lee and Auntie Jiang had bought vegetables, and on their way back, they saw him. Uncle Lee asked if was up early for a workout. He replied that he was trying to stay healthy. Yuan used his skill to Uncle Lee, and it showed him details of bone-devouring worms. Its source was a worm of rotting bone, and it was at platinum rank or higher. It has a biological toxin element which causes mental curse. The rotting bone silkworm burrows into flesh and sacrifices itself to form a bone-devouring gangrene. Uncle Lee sealed such a potent toxin in his leg for years. It led him to conclude that he must be at least king grade. If that was the case, he speculated that Uncle Lee's beast must have been injured too and was taking that form to recover. What was certain was Uncle Lee had been hiding some serious power. They told him to call them if he needed anything. Yuan told them not to worry much about him. They had been taking care of him since then, so it made him want to know if there was a way to heal Uncle Lee's injury, and if he could do it. He changed his clothes and went to his shop. The first beast there was the green creeper under the Hexastar family creepvine subgroup. It was at normal grade level 1, a grass type and of normal quality. He was surprised to see that it turned into an elite one when it was just normal quality yesterday. He realized that his spirit qi was leaking out. He was channeling it into spirit creatures, making them absorb it and evolve. He tried to raise the difficulty and make the green creeper a healing type Lily Loera. The beast changed form, and when he checked, it had become a Lily Loera under the Crassulaceae family, Ionium genus. It was at elite grade level 1, a wood type, normal quality, and it has the skill heal where it recovers external injury and the skill fragrance where its volatile, crisp, grassy scent could relieve tension. He was glad that it worked. With its skill now, it was at least 10 times more valuable. He called out to Smarty and Yin Yin to take a look at it. Yin Yin happily announced to him that they had leveled up. He checked their stats, and Smarty, the 100 questions beast under the Felidae family, sapient cat genus, is at normal grade level 2. This creature is a psychic type with normal quality skills. His skill was precise memory, which could accurately remember every last detail when memorizing things. Smarty proudly states that he used to be able to remember 1 piece of braised pork, but now he could remember 30. Then he checked Yin Yin's stats. She's a sound bird under the warbler family, song lover genus. and she's at normal grade level 3, a sound-type creature with normal quality skills. She demonstrated how her singing had improved so much. Yuan was so happy. He claimed that he had found his golden finger, and they're going to be rich. Then he realized that it was more than just getting rich. Evolving a spirit creature was incredibly difficult. Aside from the very few creatures that evolve naturally, most require a creator to use vast amounts of precious materials and medicines just for a chance at evolving a spirit creature that has reached its threshold. And yet, he could do it all by himself. He realized that it was an unbelievable ability. Countless people would kill for it. One wrong move, and as the saying goes, the tallest tree catches the most wind. Yuan was aware that he can't protect himself yet, so he took a mental note not to let this secret out. To use this ability safely, he has to become a creator, step by step. Using that profession as a cover was the only way to stay safe in the long run. Otherwise, he'll just be asking for trouble. He was deep in his thought that he didn't notice the phone ringing until Yin Yin and Smarty pointed it out. He remembered that someone would come for her to contract her first beast creature. It was Xiao Shui. She asked how he was feeling. He replied that he's feeling much better than before. He was planning on cleaning the backyard too. That surprised her. She got worried because he doesn't have any spirit key to back him up. She told him to leave the backyard alone until she gets home. He assured her that it was nothing major since just a bit of tidying up. He told her not to worry. He reminded her of their promise, that she would study hard at school and not waste her talent. She replied that she already knows. And she was determined not to let him down. At school, class was in the next 2 days, and they'll be contracting their first spirit creatures. It was an important event. While a spirit creature's quality and grade were crucial, the spirit Kwai professional's own level also affects its performance in battle. For combat professions, the compatibility range also differs for each type. If they choose a spirit creature that doesn't align with their own affinity, it would be very difficult to form a contract, and they could even suffer damage to their mental power. Even for life-type professions like artisans or weavers, they need a deep, long-term understanding of spirit creatures to be able to fuse spiritual materials together. What's more, their class was geared toward training combat-type professionals, so synergy between their spirit creatures was something they must consider very carefully. The class was dismissed. Shui was told to stay behind for a moment. The teacher asked her if she wanted to reconsider the spirit creature that she's contracting. She's aware of her family situation, but her talent was exceptional. The Federation's 100 Sun selection was coming up, and she was advised not to let this opportunity pass her by. She became gloomy after that. Meanwhile, at home, Yuan was glad that he was done. He upgraded 300 Lily Luaras to elite grade. It should be worth at least 20,000 Federation coins. With this, he'd be able to buy a high-grade spirit creature for Zui to contract. Suddenly, his phone rang. It was from an unknown number. He thought it was a new customer. The timing was perfect because he was about to call it a day. He asked who that was. The person on the other line raised her tone as she asked if he was Yu's guardian. He was told that Yu plans to contract a gray beetle. She had an exceptional talent, and that would be a waste. A gray beetle was a normal grade spirit creature that can be bought for 200 coins. It was extremely aggressive. Its skills were worthless. And, basically, no one contracts them. They're only good as feed for high-grade insectivores. The teacher informed him that Zhu's affinity range covers all defense-type spirit creatures. There were probably only a few people in all of Violet Thorn City with that kind of talent. She demanded that the Guardian prepare an elite-grade defense type for her first contract spirit creature. He replied that he understood and thanked her. He promised to send a suitable spirit creature to the school within the next 2 days. For an elite grade, he would need to get at least 100,000 Federation coins. He was short on time. He had to upgrade all those normal grade green creepers to elite grade, and then sell them to get a top-tier elite grade defense-type spirit creature for Xiao Shui. The next day, Yuan looked like a zombie after a whole night of spirit key transmission, but he was glad he managed to finish on time. The spirit creature market was a sketchy place, so he covered up even the bracelet just in case. He asked Smarty if he was really sure that he wanted to come along. Smarty replied yes, and his statement, "A good Smarty was a Smarty that guards the house," doesn't work on him anymore. Besides, haggling was one of the duties of a 100 questions beast. Yuan had noticed that Smarty had gotten stubborn and disobedient since he evolved. The ride had arrived, and the driver told the passengers to wait behind the yellow line. The bus was drawn by a spirit creature horse. The bus looked different from what Yuan knew. Smarty replied that it was because he was reading history books and not a modern transportation guide. A century after the Spirit Key revival, all sorts of spirit creatures have replaced some of their old steel machines. The driver told them to hold on tight, then they sped off. It was really fast and Smarty fell out of the window. Fortunately, Hao was able to grab him. The driver asked Yuan if he's heading to the spirit creature market too. If so, he picked a good day for it. Yuan asked why. The driver asked if he hadn't seen the news. A couple of days ago, a dimensional rift opened up about 30 miles outside Zia County. It took the Violet Thorn Guards 2 full days and nights to hunt down all the aberrant insects that poured out and get the situation under control. They say a squad of Violet Thorn Guards were still stationed nearby. The rift happened to open right next to a spirit creature breeding base. The creatures were either killed or injured, and few of the employees who escaped were selling the remaining injured ones at the market. Now they knew how that blunt-armored pig got out. The driver told him that a bunch of blunt-armored pigs escaped, and he managed to snag one for a cheap price yesterday. He shared that once it was served on the table, his whole family dug in and they hung up the rest to cure. Yuan replied that he's amazing, and he requested to be dropped off at the intersection closest to the stall. It was great since critically injured and disabled spirit creatures definitely won't be too expensive. There were bargains to be found. Moments later, Yuan got there and looked around. Smarty told him to leave the rest to him. He asked what kind of spirit creature they were buying and their budget. Yuan replied that it would be a defensive elite-grade spirit creature, and for the price, it would be around at least 100,000 Federation coins. Smarty was shocked because they only have less than 20,000 in savings. He planned to trade the Green Creeper and Lily Loera that he upgraded last night. A normal-grade Green Creeper costs anywhere from 1,500 to 3,000, so even if they trade 20 of them, they are still short on money. Some plants caught his attention because it seemed like they were calling out to him. He can now clearly sense the instinctive approach and rejection from other spirit creatures. The lighter the glow, the more friendly the aura. He noticed the clear pond carp, nether orchids, snow lilies, 1,000 jade hands. He wondered if his affinity range really that wide. He had a high affinity for healing and support types, and plant-type spirit creatures were instinctively drawn to him. Zhu's affinity was with defensive types. Smarty showed him something. The seller's price was at 80,000, but Smarty haggled it to 10,000 until the seller's final offer was 60,000, and Smarty insisted on 20,000. The spirit creature that was being negotiated was a tough-hide rabbit from the species Leporidae rodentia. It was an elite grade level 1, a defensive type, normal quality, with a skill called Hardened Hide, which makes it grow a tough keratinized shield over its skin to block damage. Yuan apologized to the seller for Smarty's reckless behavior. Smarty was displeased because he would have gotten it for 20,000 if he had just kept haggling. Yuan whispered to him and suggested that they shop around first. The next thing they checked was a land tortoise from the species Tetsudinidae, Geoshalone, a normal grade level 3 defensive type with normal quality. Its skill was called Enlarge, where it increases its body size, retracting its head and limbs into its shell to help block damage. Yuan assessed that the grade was too low, and he doesn't have time to level it up. Smarty added that it moves slowly, too. After that, they saw the Phantom Clawfox from the Vulpidae/Golosus species. It was an elite grade level 1 defensive type at normal quality. It has the skill called Rollout, which curls its body into an arc and moves by rolling, blocking damage with its spirit-packed sound. It wasn't much different from the rabbit. Smarty added that it wouldn't be able to protect Shui because it's shy. Smarty suggested considering the tough-hide rabbit again. Yuan wanted to keep looking because he had to be really careful about this. After looking around, he was at the last one. It was a coiled horn sheep under the Caprini ovis species. It was an elite grade level 7, rock type, at perfect quality. It has the parry skill in which it uses its large horns to block and defend. Also, its horn assault slams into a target with its large horns. From the herd, Yuan saw a perfect quality youngling, and it even has a control-type spirit beast skill. It has everything the other has except for horn assault because in place of that, it has the shock horn instead. This allows it to strike a target with vibrating horns, causing paralysis through high-frequency vibrations. Yuan wanted to buy it for 100,000. The man told him to wait because he'll call his wife to check. Smarty told Yuan that he checked the prices online yesterday, and a coiled horn sheep was only about 50,000. Even a rare one would be 90,000 at most. He was acting like a nouveau riche behavior with his offer. Yuan explained that he was just showing sincerity. He commented that Smiley was still green when it came to haggling. The seller gave him 120,000 Federation coins as the last prices. Both Yuan and Smarty think he was a ripoff. Yuan felt sad because there were no other defensive spirit creatures left. If that was the case, it might come down to paying the overpriced coiled horn sheep. Suddenly, a seller announced that the spirit beast meat was all sold out. The buyers could see more heavily injured spirit beasts, and they suggested that he butchers them. Yuan's eyes sparkled when he heard about the heavily injured spirit beasts. Smarty reminded him that it wasn't the time to be thinking about braised pork. The man felt sorry for those poor creatures inside and to the buyers that he kept waiting. He encouraged them to take a look. There were only 3 left, so he promised them that if they buy them, they would definitely be guaranteed a profit. Most of the people left because they wanted a butchered one already. They had no idea how to heal them and the money to hire